Let us understand how to solve 3D problems using trigonometry. Question here is, Perry the falcon from 100-meter height observed that the rabbit at an angle of depression of 39 degrees has a bearing of 210 degrees and its burrow at an angle of depression of 34 degrees is at the bearing of 100 degrees. Perry knows from experience that if the rabbit's safety distance is more than her height from the ground, she has 80% chances to make a kill. Should she go for it now? Explain. So that's a very interesting practical problem. Now, I have represented the situation in the form of a diagram, and that's very critical to understand. And let's look into that first. So this light blue lines here indicate horizontal plane where north is being pointed, right? So when we are given bearing angles, then all the angles are clockwise from north. So let's go through the question once again to understand how to draw or represent the situation in the form of a figure. So it says, Perry the falcon from 100-meter height. So height is shown like a z-axis, the vertical axis. Height OP is 100 meters and P is the position of the falcon. Rabbit at an angle of depression of 39 has a bearing of 210 degrees. So 210 degrees clockwise from north is that direction. That is what it is. And this is the distance on the ground, which is OR, is equals to the distance of rabbit from vertical position of the falcon on the ground, right? But this direction gives you a bearing of 210 degrees. And its burrow at an angle of depression of 34. So angle of depression is from the horizontal, right? So this is kind on the vertical plane, 34 degrees shown here, is at a bearing of 100. 100 on the ground. So this angle is 100 degrees. Now if you join these two lines, which represents the position of rabbit and its burrow on the ground, then the angle between them will be 210 minus 100, which is going to be 110 degrees, right? So that is the angle between the vertical angle on this triangle, ROB, right? Perry knows from experience that if the rabbit's safety distance is more than her height from the ground, she has 80% chances to make a kill. Well, they are not always successful, but they are very good hunters. But 80% chances are when the height is less than the distance RB. So we need to find rabbit's distance from the burrow so that we know what is the safety distance. So that is what we need to find, and let that distance be D. If this distance is more than 100, then Perry should try for a kill. So that is the situation, correct? Now let's see how to solve this kind of a problem. Now if you see these triangles drawn here, P, R and O, that is triangle in the vertical plane, where we know angle and the opposite side. And from this triangle, we can always find the adjacent side, right? So if you know adjacent and if you are dealing with adjacent and opposite side, you have to use, with a 90 degree triangle, you have to use tan theta, right? So from here, we can write tan of 39 degrees is equals to opposite side, which is 100, divided by RO. And therefore, we can say RO is equals to 100 divided by tan of 39. So we get the base RO for this vertical triangle. We can do the same calculations here and find from O the distance of the burrow on the ground. So that will be OB. So we can say OB is equals to, same thing, we say tan of 34 degrees equals to height of 100 divided by OB, and that gives us OB, cross multiply and get the answer 100 over tan of 39 degrees, right? Then use your calculator, find these answers. Now once you find RO and OB, you need the angle between them. So this angle, the vertical angle at this vertex O is 210 minus 100, which is equal to 110, right? So we have 110 degrees as the angle ROB. So we know angle ROB, let me write here, angle ROB equals to 210 degrees minus 100 degrees, which is 110 degrees. So in this triangle, you see, we know two sides and included angle. So you can use cosine law, correct? Use cosine law and get the distance RB, or rather D, right? So we can write down RB square equals to RO square plus OB square minus 2 times RO times OB times cosine of 110 degrees, right? 110 degrees. So that will give us the square of the distance. Perfect. Now do square root and find out the answer. So if that distance is more than 100 meters, in that case, Perry should make a kill, right? That is how you need to explain this question, right? So these are the 3-4 steps which you have to do to solve this question. Now let's take a calculator and find the answers. So first one is 100 divided by tan of 39, which gives us 123.48. So I'll write 123.5. So this is approximately 123.5. And now we'll do 100 divided by tan of 39, or rather this was 34, not 39, so let me make it 34. So tan of 34, which is equals to 148.25. So I'll write equals to 148.3, right? Now we can substitute these values and then do square root. So RB will be actually square root of all these values, right? So these values are RO 123.5 square plus 148.3 square minus 2 times 123.5 times 148.3 times cos of 110 degrees, right? All square root. So that's how you can find RB. So let's do that. So let's do square root, and within brackets we do 123.5 square plus 148.3 square minus 2 times 123.5 times 148.3 times cos of 110, bracket close, equal to. So we get 223.09. So we get 223.09, let's say 1. So that is what we get. So from here you can clearly see this is not just greater than 100, but it's twice more than that, right? So now since RB is much more than 100 meters, so it is so many meters. So it's a good option for Perry to make a kill. Perfect. I hope you understand with this that 3D problems are not so difficult. The difficult part really is to sketch this. Once you sketch your diagram, in that case, you have to solve two triangles basically and use sine law and cosine law. If the triangle is right angle, then we should use primary trigonometric ratios, and if the triangle is not right angle, then depending on the situation, you can use sine law or cosine law to solve your triangle and get the answer. Go through this video once again, try to understand how we have drawn the figure to represent the situation. Hope that helps. Thank you and all the best.